everybody. So I am posting this on my uplifting group and then also on my life coaching page. I'm very passionate about people that are bringing amazing things into this world, and I know it's not just about what it is that I provide. I want to start showcasing other people, and so I love interviewing other people to empower them and to help bring these things into all of our lives. So how I came to meet Melissa was I was on my page talking about money and circulation and how the more that we give to others, the more that we can receive. And really it's a lot about fear that keeps us holding on to our money, and how if we just kept it going, then that's how the world can start living in a more of a wealthy mindset than a lot of the lack that we're facing with money in general. And so when I started to share about that, that's when my really good friend Nicole had introduced me to Melissa. She knew that we were just gonna click as soon as we met, and so that's exactly what happened. We just started talking on the phone for a little bit. It felt like I had known her forever, and then she was just like, well, what about your life coaching thing? And so it just grew into like, oh yeah, let's do the life coaching thing. And so we did one call, and then we have been together for almost 3 months now. Yeah. We're coming to the end of it, and it's just been a phenomenal journey, not just by me coaching her, but the things that I've learned from her and taken from her as well. And again, this is the reciprocation that we both have a really strong vision for, and showcasing people. So I just wanted to bring you here so that you can share with all of them kind of who you are, what My People means to you, and go from there.
Yeah, thank you. So actually, I never heard you share exactly what led to you meeting me until right now, because I remember you mentioning money going around and things like that, but I didn't put that together. So that's pretty cool that Nicole picked up on that. And yeah, I've often felt the same thing where it's, I don't know, when you're kind of living in this state of abundance, and you're giving and giving and giving, and if everybody were in that same space, then there wouldn't be this lack and scarcity. And so definitely like-minded in that regard. But yeah, no, my people just, came about, I don't know if it's okay to share kind of like my why, but back during a time when I was a struggling single mom in the Bay Area, and I had 2 kids. And, wasn't able to, I all of a sudden had to leave my job, my sales job that paid really well, because I was dealing with an eating disorder, and I had to stop working, and suddenly my income just dropped down to like less than half of what I was used to making. And so there was a lot of, lack and scarcity. But the thing that just didn't sit well with me during that time was that now, just because I have this disabling experience or this disabling condition for a short term, like now my skills and my abilities mean nothing to the economy. Mm-hmm. Like now I have nothing that I can give, and now like I just have to kind of sit here at home and kind of suffer in silence, and I can't give my great gifts to the world anymore. And I thought there's got to be like a better way, because certainly I knew I still had some worth and some value. And at the time I had tried to go back to college to finish my degree, and I was really struggling with statistics, like tremendously. And I desperately needed a statistics tutor. And that's when kind of the idea of My People was born, as I just thought, if only I could help people with the things that I'm good at on the days when I'm feeling really well. And then I can have someone help me with the things that they really enjoy and are good at, when they're feeling well, then wouldn't that make the world go round? Isn't that the way that it should work? And so yeah, that's just really what it's I don't know, at the cornerstone of what I'm trying to build is, if everybody woke up every day and just said, how can I be the best me that I am, and how can I share that best me with the world, then I really think that everything would fall into place. We would still have doctors and teachers and lawyers and any profession you can imagine, but people would just shift into the role that they really wanted, not the role that was convenient or that they thought that they were good at. So That's really all that I wanted to create with it.
Yeah, it's so funny. I never knew the exact moment that it had kind of happened for you too.
Yeah.
And so for me, knowing you and knowing about my people and trying to convey this to everybody who's watching, it's like there's so much depth to it and so much heart that goes into it. I can just see how it's really hard to express exactly what it is and how it's used, because it's just so many different things. It's kind of like, I guess, life coaching, because I feel like I am so many different things to different people and what it is that they need. And so your site and your vision is so much like that, where it's really supporting these people. It's about getting the things that you need. It's about supporting people that are trying to be entrepreneurs. It's trying to show people how to showcase themselves. Like, there are so many just different facets to what it is that you're trying to provide. So in that part, what you were just talking about is really having people's needs met. Is that right? And so what is another important facet of it that you would like to really shed light on and what you're trying to do?
Yeah, so not only having our needs met, but just knowing that what we can provide is valuable. And I'm of the opinion that there's no person out there that does not have intrinsic value. Every single person, when you're born until you die, or even after with your legacy, like, you provide intrinsic value. And so even if all you could do is show up maybe on a video chat channel and strum the guitar, for a couple of minutes, there's value in that. And there's somebody somewhere in this world that would be so uplifted and enriched by having you do that for them, that I want to connect those people. And I guess, like, yeah, there are a lot of things around, like you said, it's very vast or whatever, but at its core, it's people showing up to do their best thing, and then finding those people that need their best thing, and then just connecting them. And I think, part of the problem I see with the gig economy that exists today is that it's very transactional and very anonymous, and it's, kind of revolves around sort of the haves and the have-nots, like, here, deliver me my food and clean my house and do my laundry and walk my dog. And it's like, but those people who are doing the laundry and the cleaning and the dog walking, they have needs too. Yeah. So what gig economy serves them? And it's not, I don't know, it's a little lopsided. So really, I feel like my intention is that everyone who shows up to be a helper on the site is also a helpee, someone who needs help, and everybody who needs help is also has something unique to provide. So that hopefully it's not a lopsided system, and people can get to know the real people behind, the service. So yeah.
And what I was thinking of when you were saying that is that there are people out there that might have those jobs of, like, even dog walking or delivering food or whatever. There are those people that those are their passions, but very few where it's like, do I really want to drive people around? And, that's my passion. Like, again, there's somebody out there that it is, but at the same time, like, a lot of people are doing it for the freedom and the easy money to come in and have, really, I think it's about freedom for those people that they're wanting to do it. And so that's what I love about your site, is that it's really about creating what people are. Yeah, like I said, that intrinsic value. We all have a value. We all have something that needs to be expressed, and doing what you love is just so important on that site, and that people should be paid for it. And also just knowing that it's not just even being about being paid for it. It's about giving a part of you, and they're returning it back to you. Yeah. I've just found that to be so amazing. So with this whole vision in mind, now you've have to put it in this, like, practical use. So when someone comes to your website, what are they going to see, and, like, what do they do to start?
Yeah. So before I share that really quick, one thing you said about hinting kind of at Uber, if you will, driving.
I was like, should I say
it's funny that you mentioned that, only because I was on my way to an event, an entrepreneur event, and I took an Uber there. And, here I am in this gig economy. So I'm like, come on, Melissa, get the guts to talk to her. Like, why is she driving? And so I was like, so, do you like being a driver? And, like, we got to talking, and she's like, no, actually, I'm a stylist, and I cut hair for a living, but my salon is being remodeled, and so I have no work. Yeah. And so I'm doing Uber, and I actually really don't like it. Yeah. And I said, well, what if what if you could go from place to place to place cutting and styling hair instead? And she's like, well, that would be amazing. Yeah. And I was like, ding, like that's what I'm trying to create it's like you want the freedom and the flexibility of like, saying I am well now, I can work now. You want the ability to turn it off when you can't work. But what if you could do that with something you actually love, and then you could really serve the world, because then you're delivering haircuts to people who are housebound or the elderly or someone who doesn't have childcare, and it's like there's that need too. So I wanted her to know, like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. I wanted her to know, like, there's a place for you in this world to do just what you want, And even though it seems simple, like styling hair. But anyway, so to get back to your question, it's very simple, and I try and keep it minimum barrier as possible so that we're welcome to all. So basically, someone goes onto the website, mypeoplenow.com. They click join. They just fill out some basic info like their name and their phone number and email. And then they can, after they register, they can list a service. And they can list a service for anything. And people often say, what do you mean anything? And I say, like, well, yeah, I mean, within like, legal limits and things. I mean, it's really anything. Like if your service is, I want to teach you how to juggle, or I want to, paint faces at birthday parties, or things like that, anything. So someone lists a service, they come up with a price that they want to charge, answer a few other details, and then post it. And people can add, video and picture. And and then so other people can book them. So we're still perfecting the matching piece. We, ultimately want to add something where we can better match people up so that, just to make that process simpler. But I mean, with you, the way that I found you is I was browsing one day and I just saw something that spoke to me, and I said, yes, like that's what I need in my life. And I've worked with several different people on the site now, and each one, it's just like, it's just been it's worked out so wonderfully, and I'm sure we'll get into some of the other stories. So,
So, that's what I noticed when I went to the site. I felt really excited about like that part of like I can put anything, and it gave me a chance to kind of experiment with different things. So I started being a life coach, but I was like, are there other things in my life that I want to bring? And so what I like that you said that people are diverse. And so we're so used to like, you have to be one thing and you have to stay at this year until you retire. And like, this is all like such a huge thing for you to decide like who you are, because this is what you're gonna do for the rest of your life, But that freedom that it gives, that you're like, I am a multifaceted person. I have a lot to offer to different people, and different things bring me joy, and I can put those on there. That really spoke to me, because before it was always like I had to have my clarity and find out exactly what it is that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I really liked that piece of it. And then the other piece was, actually I kind of want to talk about a little bit how it's interesting, because I feel like if you go on at first, it's hard to grasp all of this. This is why I wanted to do it in person and have you share like this, because if you go on the website, it kind of talks about these things, but you don't get the Melissa feel and everything that it is that you're trying to provide. So for me, I would check out other people and what it is that they would do, but to book them, it was hard to kind of understand the points and everything, and how the points work and how that comes together. So can you actually explain more about the points also that you can learn than just booking somebody and getting a service from them?
Yeah. And it's funny that you talk about like the Melissa feeling or whatever, because every person I've worked with is like, wow, this is way better than what I thought it was when I signed up. And I was like, oh, I guess like it's just hard to, it's all up here. And so it's crystal clear. And then it's hard to remember, oh yeah, not everybody is like living up here. Yeah. So you have to kind of convey that. And so, the points part has been like the biggest feedback is like, what the heck are these points? So I came up with the idea for the points again, back in that, 1-bedroom apartment in the Bay Area with my kids, where I was thinking, okay, first of all, I don't have a lot of money. And second of all, I was on disability payments at the time. And the problem with disability payments is that if you go out and you experiment with self-sufficiency, you're actually docked for that. And they say, oh, suddenly you can work, so you must not need the security of disability. And the problem with that is, what if I'm okay to work for 3 days out of the week and then I fall into like a bad period of time and for a couple weeks I can't, then I have to apply again and I've already lost that that coverage and stuff like that. And so I feel like our system is really not set up to encourage self-sufficiency. And that's a shame, and I think that should change overall. But anyway, back to the points is I thought, okay, well, what if I can't work for money because I don't want the security of my payments to go away, but I can still experiment with self-sufficiency and see what I can do and provide. So maybe I provide services for points, and nobody's docking anybody for pay if they receive points. So let's say that my background is in inside sales. Let's say I do some telemarketing for someone for a day, or I help them with their sales strategy, and I earn, maybe 80 points for that, Then what can I do with those? Now I told you I needed a statistics teacher or tutor, so it would have been really great if I could have used those points to book a statistics tutor to come and help me. Mm-hmm. And then maybe that statistics tutor really struggled with, having time to clean their house, and then they were able to book someone to clean their house, and then that person really struggled with childcare, and and on and on and on. And that's just where it comes back to kind of the people holding hands and being supported by the world is we can all exchange, and I do have another domain actually called mypeopleexchange.com because there was a few different ideas floating around, but it's really, I'd say, like an indirect form of bartering.
So when you actually pay for somebody else the booking, so say you're trying to pay in points though too, so when you pay somebody, all those points come back to you. So $80, you pay $80. So the example is that person that you were talking about that's on disability, and they're trying to provide for something else. So they provide a service that someone can pay them money for, but then they will get. Can you explain that a little bit? I'm glad you asked. Actually, detail. Each helper, when you create your service, you can say that you're willing to accept points or not. So maybe you really only need money and you don't want to accept points, and we allow people to choose that. Or you can choose 50% in points or any percentage, right? But let's just say that you did say that you were willing to accept 100% of your fee in points. So now I'm paying for an $80 service, and that person's accepting 100% in points, and I have 80 points, so then I can spend all those 80 points and get that service effectively for free. So that's how it works, is you get to choose. We're hoping that people will want to accept more in points just so to kind of keep the goodness going around, but I understand that currently you can't pay rent with points. Currently, right now, but in the future. All needs are met. Housing, food, everything. Because that was my journey with it at the beginning, not knowing again how the points work and how it really can have this feel. Because I feel like I think about buying locally also, and so there's that power in that, like, your money is your power. I heard that from a friend of mine, and I've just taken it on. It's like whatever you are putting your money into is what you're saying, like, yes, into the world. Like, yes, we want more of this. We want more of this. So I love investing in local businesses and in people. And then it's not as much as I would like to in local businesses because it does cost more. You know, it does cost more. So you're wondering, like, should I? But when I do it, it's like you see the people and the extra mile that they'll go. So what I like about your site too that you just started is the My People section. So the term My People, which I didn't get for a while, you're just talking like, these are my people, these are my supporters, they're the ones that are going to bat for me, like, you're going to support me and everything. And so I've already started to see how that can start to happen after you kind of have to be in it for a little while to fully understand it. And I feel like people just might not be taking that time until they everything's such a fast moving thing, and if you're not getting that instant gratification all of a sudden, now it's like takes that time to do it. But if they really do stick with it for a while, that's how I've noticed that it starts to grow. So it seems like in the future you're gonna have a section too that's like about different people, like their friends, their family. And then for me right now, especially wanting to build my business, like I want my team and my people that can support me. So evidence is sitting right here with you. It's like I will love interviewing people and drawing this out in other people. And her son is the one doing their recordings. His name is Michael. He's like behind the camera, and I am using my points right now for him to set up the scene and do the video and edit it. So she's booked me. So I'll start from the beginning here.
Yeah.
So first I was on the site, I offered my service, and then so she booked me, she paid me on the site, and then part of the points came back to me, and then so now I have accrued 111 points through her booking me, and then also her mom ended up booking me through points that she got doing the things that she loved.
Yeah.
And then I ended up changing with her suggestion, just changing my first one session call, like a 45-minute call, to full points. So then people get to know me. I can give them, ignite this spark within them to go off, and it's all through the points that they've served. And it's just, again, that full circle thing. So her mom books me, uses all of her points. I get more points. I have all of them. And then so now I was like, yeah, let's come here, do this video. I have 100 points. Let's make a couple videos. And then there's another person on the site named Gavin that I've been reaching out to. And I've just been waiting for enough points and money to invest in him, like creating a logo for me. So it's like, that's what it's about. Like, these are my people. I now have a what's called graphic designer. I have a person editing my videos. I have this amazing supportive. If you just want to know anything about sales, like to do it like from your heart, like reach out to Melissa and she will share. But like, I've never heard anybody talk about sales in the way that you have, and I'm sure you hear that a lot. But it just gives me so much hope for the future, and that there is this more all working together. So yeah, on that side, it feels like now I have my group of people that are all going to support me. And that's what's kind of nice about it. I feel that feels like it's in a contained environment, because when you are just giving out your money, it's hard to know that it's going to come back to you.
Yeah.
Because if you're just investing in this other company, like it's doing great, but then is it going to come back to me? And then when you have that little circle of your people, like it all just kind of goes around, and your circle can get bigger and bigger, and it can include more people, and it can just make your life so much easier. So what ideas came from what I was talking about?
Yeah, no. So I think no, I'm glad that you went into detail about the points, because, like I said, it's, not everybody can, afford to pay for services and different things. And so it's kind of like, yeah, what good are you putting out in the world? Then of course it's going to come back to you. And it's nice to have something that's kind of, tangible, there. But it's been an incredible journey, and it's been difficult because, as you mentioned, I have like this big vision for what I want it to turn into, but then working with each individual piece. And then one thing that's just a random thing to say, but becoming an entrepreneur and actually going out and journeying out to do my vision and my dream and what I feel like I was called to do has really been like emotionally transformative, and not always in the best way. And it's been really tough, and it's bubbled up all of these things that I needed to work on and face. And one of those big things has been like fear. And it's funny that I went into sales, where you experience rejection on a constant basis, sometimes 60 to 80 times a day, and then they say, oh, it takes that many to get one yes, and it's like, because I have a fear of rejection and stuff like that. But what I've learned through this experience, though, is that when I go out and I do what I'm really good at, what I'm really passionate at, I'm not selling anything anymore. I'm just helping someone, and that feels really, really cool. So, and
you don't have to go to 60 people.
No, exactly.
Just like magical soulmate.
Yes.
Like, people are falling into your life, and they're just like, you're speaking from your heart. They're just like, yes.
Yeah. Well, and so even along the lines of that is I met you, and I saw your listing there, and it immediately spoke to me, because you were looking for people who were ready, and I was like, I'm feeling ready. But around the exact same time, and I don't want to say ironically, because I want to say, of course. Yeah. Of course, I was taking a class with another entrepreneur named Nick Hughes. And in the very first course, he said, or the very first lesson, he said, in order to become an entrepreneur and succeed at it, you have to really be like right up here and right here, like, because it's really hard, like really, really hard. And so one of the first things he said was, I got a life coach, and my whole life changed. And I was like, I had this life coach sounding person on our site, and it really spoke to me, like maybe we'll give it a shot. Like, I don't know, it sounds so vague, like what's a life coach, you know? But all I knew is like, okay, well, I have a life, obviously, and I need someone to just kind of take my hand and coach me along, you know? Yeah. And that's exactly what it was. And I think like we didn't even have to talk for like 30 seconds. And I was just like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, obviously, like business soulmate, you know, friend soulmate, or everything else was there. And so just you doing what you love has completely transformed my life. And that's like the essence of what I'm trying to create. So
yeah. And I think just like me and how the only way that I life coach is like leading by example, and I have to like practice what I preach all the time. It's like I can't just say something and not do it. And so I feel like that's really what you're doing as an entrepreneur. You're like paving the way so that other people don't have to go through this pain, you know, and suffering. And it might sound like you're expressing how hard it is, and in my belief, it doesn't have to be hard. Life doesn't have to be hard. And so the more that we can believe that, the more these people come into our lives and can set these things up so that when people are ready to create this community around them that My People is creating, life won't be hard anymore. And you will have done all of this like paving the way for people to not have to suffer like that and not have to go through that. And so yeah, just thank you for doing that and for creating this experience for anybody. I mean, like you said, anybody can go on there, and people have a weird thing about like, can I trust this person or not, and all that stuff, and that's just not part of you and who you are. And it's a lot of why people get excluded from things is because of how they're seen. And I just love that anybody can post on there. Most people don't, and I just feel like the people that will be attracted to this site will be people that are trustworthy. And you're creating things like we did a promotional video for my site on there and creating it so that people can be really showcased. And so I don't know if you have something else to say about that.
No, definitely. That's one of the other most common things I get asked is like, well, what about background checks? And I think to myself, okay, a couple things. First of all, just because someone's been background checked doesn't mean they're some amazing person who's going to transform your life. Yeah. Second of all, I really believe, because of my background in sociology, but I really believe that people who have been in our lopsided and unjust legal system still have value. And maybe I messed up 10 years ago or something. But guess what? What are those people going to do if they can't get regular jobs and then they're pushed out of the gig economy because of these background checks? What are they to do to go and be their best selves, you know, to get out of that cycle? So I don't know, when people say that to me, I guess like I just tend to be like a very trusting person. And I hosted hundreds of people on Airbnb, and I drove hundreds of people around using Uber, and not a single bad thing happened. So I guess what I have to say to that is maybe like the people that the gig economy is going to serve best are going to be trusting people who just realize that, hey, like most of the world is filled with good people, and we can't always weed them out with these weird, you know, background checks or different things like that. But what I do want to bring into the picture that will, I think, help with that is, like you said, like sort of your village, you know, your group of people that you can trust. If people that you know can see, hey, you know, Leanna trusts Michael to do video editing, I trust Leanna, so by virtue of that, maybe I can trust Michael to do my video editing without having to like really look into his, you know, skill set or whatnot. So we're really trying to add that social aspect. So I guess the way that I look at it is every single person on this planet can be vouched for by someone else for something. And we want to uncover that and then highlight that and bring that to the top, you know.
So awesome. Yeah. I just feel like you're going to shift the way that people look at it, because anytime there's background checks or all this stuff, it's all based in fear. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I, as a life coach, I had a hard time coming to this myself. It's such a natural thing for you, but I used to always have this thing of people saying, oh, you just get people that take advantage of you, or like, but you have to protect yourself. And like, especially like a motherly feel, like when I was talking about certain things that I believe, you know, someone in my family was just like, oh my gosh, but you have to watch out for this and that and all this stuff. but again, it's all fear. And so for me, what I end up teaching is how to really be based on your intuition and how you feel about another person.
Yeah.
A lot of life coaching, there's a lot of like positivity out there, like always be so positive.
Yeah.
And it's not just about that. It's really about being centered in who you are, and you really can pay attention in your body if something feels off, you know?
Yeah.
And if we're always so stuck in our thoughts about like making sure that every little thing, and we're watching for this and that, is just, it ends up even clouding, I think, your intuition, but then you're living in fear and all this stuff. But if you really start to tune into yourself, you will also know if this person is trustworthy. And how can you explain this to people that are so used to it's not?
Yeah.
But it has to shift somewhere. It has
Yeah.
to start somewhere. And so it sounds like it's almost like going back in time when that is how people used to trust others and give them a second chance. And so if that's not for them, then they're going to find another site. But like you said, if I have my core group of people that I fully trust, and then someone else wants to, it's so amazing that it can be in that purest form, that it's there for people that intrinsically do trust other people. And I feel like law of attraction, if you trust other people in your life, those trusting people are going to come back. And so my thing with like being taken advantage of is like, I would never take advantage of another person. And so once I started realizing that I wouldn't, and releasing that idea, I only attract in amazing, wonderful people.
Yes.
And my husband would always like, he actually probably helped me with that, because I'd be like, how do you always get the nicest people on the phone? Or like, how do you always get the nicest person at the checkout, or this or that? And it's just like, I just know it's because it's him, and he just attracts those people. And whether he would say it in that way or not, like, I know that, and I've lived it, and I think you have it too.
I know, and that's why I say yes, is the more I have let go of fear, the more amazing, loving people I attract into my life. And this happens so rapidly and continuously now that I'm sold. I'm sold on letting go of fear. and it's funny because it's like, I guess I'm used to operating like that so much now that when people say that, I'm taken aback. And I almost feel sad. Like, okay, you've been hurt by so many people that your sign to the world is no, you have to prove that you can come in, and I've been hurt and taken advantage of and all that kind of stuff, as well. But I feel like when you go out on a limb and you allow someone to be their best self, and you trust that everything's going to be okay, sure, you're going to have some negative experiences, because everybody is. That's just part of life. But you're also going to say yes to so much more that other people don't get the opportunity to have. And that's what I'm just so incredibly grateful for. I could be sitting here thinking, oh, what if this person cooking for me is poisoning my food, and and stuff like that. But it's like, but that's just such an unlikely possibility. And really, I just see, that person for who she is, and I just saw it in her eyes, the love and the care and the concern. And I decided, you know what, that's okay. Everything's gonna be okay, and it is.
And
it is, yeah.
And it's always like it's whatever you see in the world amplifies. And if you are surrounded by amazing people, just more that's going to come in, and those amazing feelings. And I just, if I would be talking about this 2 years ago, I wouldn't be talking about it in this way. Yeah. But it's just so unbelievably true. The more that I have, done the same thing and on this journey. So the last thing that I wanted to say, the last piece of it is one thing that at first I was. When I was booking it, there's a 20% that goes to my people every time that you book. And so at first, it is one of the things that kind of was holding me back from like fully leading people to that site. And so now, once again, I've seen the actual benefits from it and how it really does connect people, and I can see it. Now I know that I am going to be posting it as the way of like, if anybody is interested, I'm going to be putting or sending the link there, because I am a person, I don't want to like fully like advertise everything, and it's not the typical way. Like, I don't want to like do a website and this and post things here, and like I want to just be talking with people and doing as much as I can. So what I realized is that my people is almost like its own website, which is really amazing. So I'm seeing on the website where it's like they have a profile, and then I have the 2 different services that I do have. And then on there, you can also have a video chat with somebody else. So especially for life coaching, it's perfect that they can be there and I can be there at the same time, click a video chat, and then we're both there. So it serves as so many different things. Like to me, I've realized it's like a one-stop shop type thing. So it's my website. You can do the videos, and then you can also pay on there too. So as soon as somebody decides to coach with me, they can make the payment through there, and then once I accept the booking, then the money can go through. So it's like you have the payment, you have a video, I have my profile, I have pictures, I have videos. Like it is my website without me having to pay somebody to upkeep my website and create it. And I really didn't want to create a website, and I was like, you know what, I'm just they're gonna make the URL where it just says like my people not now / Moonlight coaching or something like that, and it's gonna be my own site. So it's like boom, it has my website, it has all the capabilities of what I really need to be a life coach, and then all the things that we were just talking about. It really supports the betterment of this whole I won't even say movement in it, like that's what it feels like, and so you're investing not just in, it's not just like this like you're throwing away, because that's what it felt like at first. I feel like to most people it'll feel like that, like you're just kind of throwing away this 20%, and why not do this other thing where I can make money faster or this or that or whatever. And so, but now again, seeing the investment, I just want to encourage people to really not see it as money that you're throwing away, but investing in the goodness in other people. And so I've always wanted to invest my money not just in things, but people and experiences, and that's exactly what your site provides. And I have the inside scoop of seeing what she wants to do in the future, and get to have so many more conversations with you where it's like, yeah, I want to invest anything that I can to make this a legitimate thing, and knowing the passion and the intrinsic motivation that you have to make it better and better all the time. So
yeah, well, it's so I have to just comment real quick that it was me getting over my fear of hearing feedback that led to you sharing your kind of, I guess, fear about the 20% or your worry about that I when I first heard it, I was like, but it makes so much sense to me. We have this company to build and blah, blah, blah. But then I started to think to myself, like, okay, well, what do we really want to do here? We want to create a situation where people like yourself, who are a solopreneur, if you will, it's where it's a no-brainer for you to come and feel supported by the site and say, oh, wow, I can operate my whole business within one day. I can now be a professional blank, whatever I want that to be. And so, that's why we integrated, this way to kind of reduce that fee to 10%, if you share the site, or if you, make sure you, post a quality listing and things like that. But yeah, that wouldn't have come about had you not shared that with me. And so I really appreciate that. And yeah, like I said, we just want to enable people to immediately be a business leader without having to figure out all these different details. So yeah.
Well, I'm really excited to see where it's going to go and take off. And I mean, you're going to like Hollywood next week or this Friday?
Yeah,
this Friday.
3 days.
So they just like manifested and came into your life.
Yeah.
And you get to go with your son and and start shooting your own video, right, to promote your site and everything. And I feel like it's just been snowballing and getting engineers, and you have more of a team. And I love how right now you're building your people and your team to make this amazing, so that it's going to trickle down to everybody else who's a part of it. And just
and that's the funny thing, is that on Friday, this is another co-promotional video, if you will, another company that they are helping me, I'm helping them. But that just reminds me of the phrase my mom always says, which is, when one rises, we all rise. And there's never going to be Leanna's succeeding, so now there's not enough room for me. And it's like, no, when Leanna's succeeding, suddenly the tide is lifted. And the more everybody else around us is succeeding, it's like, wow, there's more and more and more. It's not less and less and less. So that's exciting for me. And I guess my greatest hope for the future is that all the people who have trusted in our early site and decided to come and register, that they can rise in the tide with us, and that we can all be in this together. So thank you very much.
We're so connected. Obviously, uplifting group and coaching is exactly what it is that I want to do, and just uplift people any way that's possible and stuff. So I hope that you guys will join me on the website too, because I'll be on there, and definitely I'm going to just keep building my team and my people, and know that there are things that you have to offer as well, and your intrinsic talents and everything that you can bring to the world. And yeah, hope you check it out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.